Hey guys, how are you? How you doing? And welcome back to another video on Sorare Josh. The Bundesliga is back this weekend. La Liga is in full swing, as well as the Premier League. And having their on-season competitions on Sorare, I think there is no better time to get involved with these competitions right now, with these cards not having too much of a premium on their in-season cards. In this video, I'm going to be showing you 5 players from the La Liga and Bundesliga as to what I think could be a great SO5 for you for under 120 Great British Pounds. And as you can see on the screen, we're going to jump right into it with the Bundesliga and Michael Zetter for Werder Bremen. The German man, 29 years old, and I would be going with his old season card. As in season, you can have 4 in season and 1 old season. Now, if we look at his card, he's ranging kind of from anywhere from 18 to 22 pounds to pick yourself up an old season card. And his scores are super consistent. He is fantastic. Looking and watching the Bundesliga myself, I think he will have another really good season. He's consistent. He makes saves even when he doesn't keep a clean sheet. And that means he could be a really key part of your SO5 to win you some rewards. He gets around that 50 mark. And with them clean sheets in there, he can spike all the way up kind of to your 60, to your 70, to your 80. And I think his AA game is really, really good. They was going for a bit of a dodgy spell here, but they picked up. And even in the games they were losing, he was scoring some great points. And I think if you partner him up with his centre-back partner, Marco Friedl, 26 years old from Austria, I think you could have yourself a really good backline pairing. Friedel's in-season card is around about £6 to £10. And in my figures, I have all put the higher cost, so you guys might be able to grab this team for a little cheaper. But Friedel, he is in and out of the team, but he is expected to be starting. And if he has been out, there has been reasons for that. He was either injured or he's picked up suspensions, and his scores speak for themselves. He is just like Zetter. He scores really well. His AA game is really good. He contributes to goals, assists, and he even gets the occasional goal line clearance himself. Hopefully not giving away too many penalties or yellow cards this season, but he is down to start in their lineup for the start of the season, and I think that pairing could put you to some success. With our centre midfielder, I've gone with Granit Xhaka, the Bundesliga man, the maestro himself. He left Arsenal and he took Leverkusen to glory. Still playing for the Swiss international team, and his card is anywhere from 30 to 38 pounds. His scores, Granit Xhaka, wow. What can you say about these scores in the Bundesliga? His AA game is magnificent. Even as a substitute, he comes on, he gets you that top AA, and wow, he scores. He doesn't get many assists, but he scores and he does great. And his AA game is wonderful. And I think Granit Xhaka for next season will continue this form. He will continue to get that AA. And I think at that price, you want to be having him in your SO5. As we move on to the striker spot, this man, towards the end of last season, was on fire. Andre Kramaric, the Croatian international himself, and his card is ranging anywhere from 35 to 45 pounds for his in-season. If we look at his SO5 and what he has been doing in the Bundesliga, towards the end of last season, he was on fire. Goals, assists, the occasional error leading towards a goal, but that wouldn't matter because he balanced it out anyway. And when you look at these scores, this is what you want from your striker. You want to be getting these fantastic scores. He plays centre midfield, he plays cam, he plays striker, and you never know. He might turn into Joelinton Part 2 and become the next Croatian Ruud Gullit in that midfield cam striker spot for Hoffenheim. And if he can keep these scores up, you want to be on side of him and having him in your SO5. And also, I would go for Grilch as well from Hoffenheim. We're having 2 Werder Bremen, 2 Hoffenheim, and a Bayern Leverkusen in there. Grilch's card is anywhere from 10 to 15 pounds, and if I'm mispronouncing that, I really am sorry. But they've got a great opening matchup of the season, and he was playing centre-back towards the end of last season. He is an international as well, but his scores, he gets AA, he plays really well, he gets assists, goal line clearance, and I think if you have this SO5 and they manage to get the AA they've got and the different things, when we look at the lineup, you would be having your captain probably as Xhaka for the most consistent, but maybe Kramaric because he was firing in them goals and assists towards the end of last season. But for this Bundesliga lineup in season, with an old season Zetter in goal, you would be looking at around about £116.24. So if we go in to the Bundesliga, and I would be starting in Division 5. Now, if you finish first, you're going to be getting your $70. You're going to be getting a box if you finish in the top 50%, which gives you good stuff to be able to craft cards. But as you move up through the divisions, through your Division 4, and if you can get to Division 2 and Division 1, you're going to be playing for some great prize money for not too much of an output for a full season's use. As you can see here, there's 80 rewards in Division 1. There's currently only 78 people in there. So if you could use this for the season, they can get that good AA. You can work your way up with this team through the divisions. And already if you're in a higher division, then that's fantastic because you get that opportunity to start out even higher. But I think for that cost, you could be getting a great return on your investment for this season. What we'll do next is we'll move over to La Liga. And La Liga is a tough league to find the right hidden gems in. There was only one clean sheet in the opening weekend of La Liga. And I've tried my best to find some, not hidden gems, but gems that I think, and this team comes in at a cost around £105. Now what I'm thinking of doing is purchasing both of these teams and running a kind of Road to Glory series to see how much we can return on our investment with these teams. My knowledge on Bundesliga and La Liga is okay. However, I want it to become even better. So if you guys do know any hidden gems, any players that you think are going to be great this season that aren't so obvious, drop me a comment, give this video a like and hit subscribe to come on that journey with me. Now, in goal, I would possibly be going with Nyland. Sevilla's goalkeeper. He is going to be their starting goalkeeper this season. I think he's pretty nailed on to start. And you could be picking him up, his old season card, for £16 to £18. Now, he was their starter towards the end of last season. He is also now Norway's starting goalkeeper as well. And I think in La Liga, he can score very, very well. Sevilla are a bit hit and miss in their games. But I believe that if you get him in these right games and he's scoring, getting your clean sheets, making saves, getting around that 50, I think the La Liga goalkeeper choices are pretty thin on the ground. And this would be the man that I would be going with. In defence, we would be going with Cabrera from Espanyol. Maybe he's too cheap, but I'm not too sure about that. But his scores are magnificent. Look at his scores in an Espanyol team which do draw a lot of games. However, I do think that if he can keep this AA game that he had from last season, I do think that he could be fantastic. Obviously, he's got to prove he can do it at this level. However, I do think as a cheaper option for the La Liga, with his card being around about £5 to £6, you could be putting in Leon Cabrera from Espanyol. Now, Isco is a bit of a hit or miss one. He is injured at the moment. However, I think when he comes back, his card right now is around about £15 to £18. And we all know Isco's ability. We know how great he is. And look at his scores when he plays. He is magnificent. He is a maestro. He is brilliant in that midfield for Real Betis. He controls the games. And he is due back either this weekend or next weekend, according to the sources. Most likely to be next weekend, but I could be picking up an Isco now and hoping that he hits them peak scores because I think his price will rise. As we move into someone who is fully match fit, Pepelu of Valencia. He's very, very consistent. He is one of the first names on the team sheet. And I do think that Pepelu for Valencia at around about the £18 to £22 mark, with these scores being super, super consistent and Valencia not being in great form at all, but he's still getting these scores. If Valencia can pick up a bit of form this season, I think he could be a great, great option in there for your midfield. So we would be going double midfielders in this La Liga team, finishing it with Robert Lewandowski. He is 36. It's a bit of a risk at his age. However, he is firing in the goals. And I think at £42 for the rest of this La Liga season, scoring scores like this in the La Liga competition, I think he would be a great addition for you. He scores goals. He is the bagsman. He's Barcelona's striker. And I do think that he would be well worth having in your team. Now, this team, as I said, comes out at just shy of £105. Obviously, what you could do with Cabrera is replace him for another defender, Araujo, once he's back from injury. We do have another defender, which I'm going to show you in a second, which I may debate putting in there depending on the form of his team this season. But I think this team could yield you some great rewards in the La Liga competition. As we can see, it's the same as the Bundesliga. You start in Division 5, you can win boxes, you can win your promotion. But as you get up the divisions, you've got some great chances. And with La Liga, quality, apart from the top boys, your Mbappe's, your Bellingham, who didn't also win their opening game of the season. I think if you can get that right combination, and looking at the points of the Premier League last week and how it can end up being with a team that can win, if you can get these players, I do think it could be fantastic. Now, Dani Olmo is a player that I would look at picking up. He's £39. If you wanted to spend a bit more, you had a bit more of a budget, and you didn't want your Isco, you wanted to put 20 more pounds of it to take this team to the £125 mark, you could get that Dani Olmo, Robert Lewandowski combination. And I think that could be a deadly combination for Barcelona. But obviously, you've just got to take into account that Dani Olmo isn't yet registered to be able to play for Barcelona. And now this man, Daley Blind, consistent for many, many seasons. His in-season card is around about £11 right now. And this is who I would be replacing Cabrera with, possibly. I think he could have another great season for Girona. And if they can withhold their form, they have been torn to shreds in the transfer market. But if he can withhold this form with the AA, keep starting for Girona and play as he was playing, I think he could be a fantastic option. And then the final one for La Liga would be Rodrigo. You could replace him for Lewandowski. You could put him in instead if you wanted someone younger. I do think he will start. He's about £10 more expensive than Robert Lewandowski. And once that front three start to click, and he does start for Real Madrid at that right wing spot, I think he could be fantastic this season, getting you your AA, your goals, your assists with Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. But I think Robert Lewandowski is a more consistent scorer for Barcelona. So this would be the five I would be going with, but possibly in there going for Daley Blind instead of Cabrera. And I just want to give a shout out to a stack you could make. And as you can see on the screen now, this is the goalkeeper that I would be going with. This will give away the team, but Super Jan Oblak. He's been great for many, many seasons. And Atletico are obviously having that European utility. You'll get the international utility out of these players as well. And I think, at his price for an old season card, Jan Oblak, £37, £38, he's a great basis for a stack. But this Atletico team does come out a bit over the budget, but I would look at it if you did have the budget. Azpilicueta, I'd be going with a centre-back. Their options at centre-back are thin. However, I do think if he can get in the team, he can score. He can score you greatly, Azpilicueta. As if we have a quick look here at the team from the weekend, you've got Azpilicueta, Witsel and Lenormand. And you could go and pick up Lenormand if you thought that he was going to be playing this season and be fantastic. But I would go with Cesar Azpilicueta as a cheaper option. And then in midfield, getting their new signing in, Conor Gallagher, bringing him in. His scores, he gets the AA performances, and he could even make his way into the England team under Lee Carsley. But if we look here, he scores well, he gets that AA game, and I think in a pressing Atletico team, he will be fantastic. If you pair him up with another new signing, Julian Alvarez, signing for Atletico Madrid, I think he will become their starting striker. Maybe partnering himself up with Griezmann and Sorloth, who knows. But I think Julian Alvarez at his price of £50 to £55, knowing how he can play when he gets his string of starts together, I think he could be fantastic for Atletico this season. Samuel Lino would be the man to finish the lineup. Atletico, he is one of the first names on the team sheet. He can play across left midfield, centre midfield, and even centre attacking midfield, but he's been on fire recently for Atletico Madrid. Yes, he didn't have a great opening game of the season. However, once he's match fit and he can pick that form up, I think this team here could be a great SO5 for you. And this comes in within season cards at around about £140. And I think with Atletico's Champions League as well, and also these players having their international utility, this Atletico stack could be great to yield you some rewards for this season in the La Liga in-season competition. Now, if you have made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I try and do all these in one take, so if there's been any stutters, jitters, anything like that, I really do apologise. But thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Any teams you're going to be using for these in-season competitions, drop me down in the comments. Let me know your hidden gems for La Liga and Bundesliga so that I might be able to pick them up and put them in my team. Give this video a massive like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now.